Mike Smith stones the Flyers as the Flyers fall 2-1 in Arizona, but however still hold the 8th spot as Detroit loses big against the Pittsburgh Penguins this afternoon. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Patrick Lynn, and welcome back to the channel. Oh, what a heartbreaking game for the Philadelphia Flyers. They lose 2-1 to the Arizona Coyotes. Mike Smith played outstanding for the Coyotes in this game. Not much the Flyers could do when you have a hot goaltender. The Flyers had 45 shots to the Coyotes 17, but Mike Smith stood on his head. It's sad to see that this guy is playing for a team that's not that good. If he was on a team that was pretty good, if he was on a team that was great, like say Boston or somebody like that, he'd probably be winning the Vezina Trophy this year. But Mike Smith played absolutely wonderful. This game got kind of out of hand towards the end of the game. A lot of chippiness and a lot of ugliness in the game. Both teams' captains were injured in this game. Hopefully, Claude Giroux is okay. He looked like he went down with a head injury, and the same goes for Shane Doan of the Arizona Coyotes. I'll get into that a little later. But let's get into this game. No scoring in the first period. That's been a kind of a trend lately for the Flyers. But Arizona does strike first in the second period as Shane Doan scores for the Arizona Coyotes to put them up 1-0. And then I think it's Mike Sloan gets the Coyotes up 2-0 with about 0.5 seconds left in the period. He fires the puck into the empty net. Now the Flyers, the referees did review this. They said that the puck did cross the line before the clock hit zero. But then the Flyers challenged it because Steve Mason had his Max Domi was pushed into Steve Mason. His mask came loose, and that kind of we thought that Steve Mason wouldn't be able to do it, but he should have had ample time to get his mask fixed before that puck came in. But I think Mason's big gripe was that he thought that Max Domi was holding his stick, which I don't think he was. I think Steve Mason could have had that save. I could be wrong. You Flyers fans could disagree with me, but Coyotes go up 2-0 at the end of the second period. That's when everything was starting to get a little bit not ugly, but in the second period, Radko Gudas kind of pushed Shane Doan down, and then Gudas's momentum went in and nailed Shane Doan in the head and into the boards. Shane Doan would leave the game. That's when the tempers would flare. Gudas became a target, and later on in the game, I mean, we go into the third period, the Flyers down 2-0. Flyers threw everything that they could at Mike Smith, and Mike Smith just stopped them. Flyers would wind up getting a they pulled the goaltender with about 3 minutes left, and then I can't remember the guy's name for the Hansel, I think it was, for the Coyotes. Now this is kind of gonna have to get looked at by the NHL, but he pushed Giroux into the boards. Giroux's head hit the top of the boards, which was the red part of the boards, and his head hit the ice. They did call a major on that, but it got kind of ugly. Shane Gottesbeer was in there pushing and shoving. Wayne Simmons was in there. The Flyers lost Wayne Simmons for the rest of the game. And then, the Coyotes lost Hansel, and the big thing, the Flyers lost Claude Giroux in the third period. So hopefully Claude is okay. We could use the captain when you're gonna need your captain if you're gonna make the playoffs and if you're gonna push to the playoffs. But the Flyers would strike on this advantage as they do pull the goaltender and they have a 6-on-4 with a power play. It was a major penalty, so the Flyers could score as much as they want. Sean Couturier Coots gets the Flyers on the board with 40 seconds left, and the game is now 2-1. Flyers again threw everything at that. But after the goal was scored, the Flyers lose Ryan White. Apparently, him and Ekman Larson, the Coyotes lose him. They were jawing back and forth between each other, and apparently they both kicked him out for this misconducts and all that stuff. I don't know what started it. The Flyers scored the goal, and the next thing you know, apparently Ekman Larson went after Voracek. And one of the good things that the Flyers have done this year is that they've been sticking up for each other. and Ryan White went to go stick up for one of the Flyers' star players, and that started the brouhaha. And then I got Ryan White and Ekman Larson kicked out of the game. But Flyers had their chances in this game, but the Coyotes shut the door at the end as the Flyers fall 2-1. That is the final score. As Mike Smith does get the does stop the Flyers. Um, he is my first star of the game. Sloan is my second star of the game with his goal, his game-winning goal, and Sean Couturier, Coots is that's his nickname, is my third star of the game for the Flyers' lone goal in the game. Uh, your goal scorers, no goal scoring in the first period. In the second period, Shane Doan and Mike Stone. I'm wrong with the name there. I thought it was Sloan. It's Stone for your the Coyotes, and Sean Couturier for the Flyers in the third period. Flyers have a day off for Easter tomorrow. Happy Easter to everybody who is watching this. But they come back home on Monday night as they play the Winnipeg Jets at home. That is 7 o'clock on Comcast Sportsnet. 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. 4 o'clock for those who live on the West Coast. It is on Comcast Sportsnet for those who live in the um, Philadelphia area. And then they have the Washington Capitals on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. That is the NBC Sports Network game of the week. That is the Wednesday night rivalry. 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. 5 o'clock for those who live on the West. But however, the Flyers do lose. They are still in front of the Detroit Red Wings, who lost big today against the Pittsburgh Penguins, 7-2. Sorry about that, Dr. Deke. We're still ahead of you. But the Flyers are still in the 8th spot. So I'm not upset that they lost, but they still have a game at hand on the Red Wings. Just got to come out Monday night against Winnipeg, and hopefully play well. Steve Mason looks like he's going to be okay being the starter for the rest of the way. If the Flyers clinch, then we'll see Stolzar. But uh, Monday night is a big game. They need to beat the Winnipeg Jets. They beat them earlier this year, but as it's been with the Flyers, they played at a level of their opponents, and they didn't do that tonight. The Coyotes were they're a bottom feeding team, but the Coyotes were 5-2 in their last 7 coming into this game. So the Coyotes were playing better, but the Flyers have to bounce back and have to have a better performance. They need to get their offensive game going against Winnipeg on Monday. Hopefully, we'll have Claude Giroux. Hopefully, there's no suspensions coming out of this game. If there is, I will make a video and get it out there. But Flyers need to turn around Monday night, 7 o'clock on Comcast Sportsnet. It is the Philadelphia Flyers and the Winnipeg Jets, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 4 o'clock on the West. And as I always end my episodes, good night and good hockey.